All right, Little Giant Father's Day sale is on. It has been on for the last few days. Where have you been? Today's Friday, and we're going to talk about some expiring offers, limited quantities while supplies last, but hopefully you're either preparing for your father, loved one, father figure, somebody special in your life. Maybe it's your stepdad. My stepkids call me the half dad, so maybe it's your half dad. Kids. My name's Kenyon, and I'm going to be your host just for a few minutes here on YouTube, and we appreciate you being part of what we're doing here in the studio. And then let's make some introductions as we go, but stick with us because this is live. It is Friday morning in Utah. It is 9:18 a.m., and let's just fly you around, and then we'll make some introductions on our side and show you what we're doing here on the studio. If you're not familiar, Little Giant is based in Utah. We have been in business since 1972. That might surprise you. 53 years in the ladder industry. And this is where we are, home base, Springville, Utah. We're about 40 minutes south of Salt Lake City. And inside our building, not only do we make a number of ladders, but we also built studios. Look at how cool this space is. The company put in these studios, and I say studios plural because this is a really good-looking studio, but we also have our industrial studio that's also beautiful, just kind of a different look. And we meet with utility companies and cable and telecom and suppliers and customers, end users in there, the strand, the utility poles, etc. Pretty cool that a company would have this kind of infrastructure to reach out to you as a customer, and whether you're in the trades, or maybe you're thinking about a ladder for home, certainly thinking about a ladder for your father, but for home, and especially during the summer when the weather's nice and you've got some projects coming up, maybe you have some needs, trees to trim, gutters to clean, right? The heat tape. Do you have any heat tape? Let's make some introductions. So first of all, I want to introduce my coworker here, Suzanne. Suzanne is going to be watching the feed. Hi, Suzanne. And she has a microphone as well, so good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate you being part of this. And so as you're corresponding in the chat, Suzanne will, and then as questions come through, we'll interact as we go. And then of course, if you have been part of what we do on the studios, you know that Paxton's back behind the scenes running the boards, and he's switching all the B-roll and the camera angles, so he's editing this on the fly. And of course, Michael Buck is back here. Here you go, Michael. Michael is the jack of all trades, so obviously here on the handheld, but he also edits a lot of the B-roll that you see. Made this thumbnail just this morning. This is cool. Good job, Michael. Anything you want us to know about the thumbnail? This is great. I love it. Yeah, it looks crisp. I think that's what Paxton said when he brought it up. It looks good. Some nods to fathers, father figures, tools, tape, stopwatch, or a nice pocket watch. My kids gave me a pocket watch years ago. It's engraven. It's cool. So should we get into it? Should we talk about, I don't want to talk about the weather, but we can talk about products. Again, if you have questions on the products that we have today, or really questions on anything that's on our website, or maybe you have a Little Giant that you have some questions on. If you have a classic that you bought at a home show in the 90s, if you have something that, a King combo that you bought at your favorite retailer, maybe you have some questions on the use or maintenance or something that you would like to know, how do you set it up in stairs, etc. Feel free to type those in the chat and Suzanne will ask those questions as we go along. So it's not just here to demonstrate the products that are on sale, but just as a service. So if you do have questions on anything related to Little Giant or ladders or ladder safety, feel free to type in the chat. This is live in 922 out here in Utah. So let's step over to the products and talk about what we're promoting today, shall we? Michael will follow me. The first one that we have on deck is the MegaMax. If you navigate, or when, I shouldn't say if, but when you navigate to our website, you'll notice that there is a Father's Day promotion on refurbished products, one of which is the MegaMax. And when we say refurbished, you know that we're in the safety industry. So we are not going to sell you a ladder that's unsafe. This has passed all inspection. When it comes back to us, it will have some cosmetic scratches or dings. And on this one, I looked it over, and honestly, I could not find one thing, but somebody in our RMA department has given it that green light. So this is referred to as kind of a scratch and dent or factory refurbished. But again, it passes all the strict ladder safety standards for ANSI, of course, as OSHA goes out and enforces how ladders are used. And then Little Giant brand, we're not going to put our name on anything that's subpar. So yes, these are factory reconditioned, but know that they're safe and fantastic product. And of course, you reap the benefit of a better price. We'll talk about this. So the MegaMax, you'll notice, comes in the Model 17 size. I love this size because it's 4'7", fits in a car, fits in a Ford Ranger. If you have a short 6-foot bed, I'm nodding to you guys in the trades or the ladies, as you're moving ladders from job site to job site or through a doorway, this is going to fit because it's only 4'7". But the hinge creates the shape of the ladder. We're just squeezing that in with either the fingers or the palm of the hand, and then we can open this up so you have your step ladder. The lock tabs on the side will pull out, and then you can see that they reveal these options to choose here to make it a 5-foot ladder, here to make it 6, or here to make it 7. So instead of carrying 2, 3, 4 ladders around, now you have the right ladder for the job. 4 different sizes in the back of the truck. Or for those of you at the home, or as you're thinking about your father, in the shed, in the garage. And this can fit when they need it, but then he or she will be safe because they have the right size. And safe because it is extra heavy duty. This is a 300-pound capacity. The MegaMax carries a 300-pound capacity, but because it's double-sided, 300 pounds on each side at the same time. So you could be on one side, your father could be on the other side. Maybe there are jobs where you need 4 hands instead of 2. So know that this is extra heavy duty, 300 pounds on each side at the same time. And then notice that there's no spreader bar or brace. Usually a step ladder has a spreader bar. Without that, that means that the MegaMax can go over a fence or get around a rose bush, maybe offer some versatility, get you closer to the work. And again, that leads to some safety and some ergonomics that would be right and unlike traditional step ladders. We can also adjust the MegaMax independently. So these sides we can adjust for unlevel terrain, hillsides, on a porch, certainly stairs. Probably the biggest reason that people have bought Little Giant ladders for 53 years is right here, and we make a number of SKUs that do that, but the MegaMax does that as well. 300-pound capacity in the staircase position, and because these sides are independent, you have a lot of versatility. This side could be made shorter, this side could be made shorter, and you'll find the right combination for those left and right positions. It also creates what we call a 90-degree position. You bring that down just a rung, and now this allows you to climb up this side, and then you're square or next to the wall or the window. Whether it's exterior, you're not leaning the ladder against your hardy board, your siding, even stucco. But when we're indoors, maybe it's framing, those of you in the trades. Maybe it's crown molding. I have a couple of sons that do finished work, so this will allow them to get near the work, or maybe you're doing rough work and framing in a small closet, or I think this was a half bathroom. So you're near the work, but you're not leaning the ladder against it. So that could be a benefit. If you have an RV, this has been a big reason that people will have a Little Giant, because it packs up so small that it'll go in the basement of the RV, but then, or it's strapped back, on the backside, but then you can get next to the RV without leaning the ladder against it. So think about all of those applications. Maybe it's a larger boat, and certainly around the house. Then it's also your extension ladder. Just unlock the hinge, locks into place, and then you have the equivalent of a 17-foot extension ladder. So we lose a little bit of perspective in the studio, but this is the equivalent of a 17-foot extension ladder, which is about the middle of a second-story window. Okay? Nice and wide on both ends. Remember, traditionally extension ladders are what? They're straight. They're straight at the top, they're straight at the bottom. So with that wide flare, that's going to give you a stability that you never had on extension ladders before. And then we also do that down here at the bottom as well. Skid-resistant feet, wide base on both the top and the bottom. And then we would just unlock those lock tabs and bring this down to the rung that you need. So you have all of these 1 foot increments like we did in the step ladder position, but then you can also adjust the height in the extension ladder position without ropes and pulleys. And then what's fantastic is that when we unlock the hinge and bring that back down, remember that the MegaMax comes down in stores, what? 4.5 feet. And then the wheels, they are on board. That is standard on the MegaMax, so you'll get a set of those. Those are already installed. So you're able to cart that through the grass or the gravel that way. And then there are a couple of accessories that you may consider. And let's discuss those with the MegaMax. When the ladder's in the A-frame position, there are a couple of accessories that you may want to add on. And you'll find these on our website as well. When you navigate to littlegiantladders.com, you'll notice that there's a banner that says Father's Day sale. Click on that, or shop if you're up in the top part of that website. And then that drop-down menu will take you to what's these refurbished products, the MegaMax being one of those. The work platform you might want to add. The work platform is a fantastic accessory, also holds a 300-pound capacity, and it looks like a paint tray or something that you could rest tools and equipment on, but this is made out of an aircraft grade of aluminum, so it holds the same 300-pound capacity that the MegaMax holds. So we can place this on any rung. If we were up here, or here, or here, we'll place that on the rung that we're standing on, slide that in so it's out of your way, and then when you're doing projects like trimming a tree or hammering in a nail, you're not standing on a rung. You're standing on a square foot, a foot square of 300-pound capacity work platform. Skid-resistant surface, able to turn and face your work. Now do that safely. We would love for you to maintain 3 points of contact as you're climbing both up and down, but once you're on a stable base, the fact that you can face your work, a lot of the work that we do on ladders requires 2 hands, so hammering in a nail, trimming a tree, or changing that light bulb or a smoke detector battery often requires your hands. But remain in balance and control, be safe when you're working at any height. But this will add a certain level of balance, but also comfort because we're not standing on a rung. We've got this big flat surface, so it supports you from your heel to your toe. You don't have those tired arches anymore. And then when you're ready to get down, you'll just step above it and slide that in with your toe. Step on top of that on the way down. That's called the work platform. Very popular accessory, so you may consider adding that onto your purchase, whether it's for Father's Day or maybe you get that accessory for a birthday or something later on. Another accessory that you might consider, which is compatible with only a few Little Giant products, and that is the air deck. This is really 2 accessories in one because it's a workstation, place to put tools, and you could put round gallons. If we popped out this orange center, you could put round quartz, you could put the chuck of your drill here, hammers, putty knives, whatever you might do, and then here's a spot for your loose fasteners. But any way that you set that up, that's a workstation that holds up to, what is it, 25 pounds worth of equipment there. And then just as important, it also becomes a safety rail or a handrail when you're at the top of the A-frame position. Let me just show you how that works, because it's only compatible with the Little Giant products that have the air deck ports. So the MegaMax has been built with air deck ports. This is not something that you purchase and add on. This is part of the MegaMax standard on this ladder that you're purchasing. And then the air deck, if you decide that you want to add this on, just plugs into the top. Make sure that that's fully seated, and then that would allow you to stand a little bit higher on the A-frame position with some confidence because you have that 3rd point of contact, again, balance, control, that we usually don't have when we get up to the top of an A-frame. And then there's a place to put your tools and 25 pounds worth of equipment. So it does 2 things. One, for you to be confident, comfortable in that 3rd point of contact, but also a place to put your things. That's called the air deck, and only works on a handful of Little Giant products. So because the MegaMax has the air deck ports, I wanted you to be familiar with that air deck. It is compatible, certainly worth its weight in gold if you're getting the MegaMax today. All right. So what are we showing you? It's not just one ladder, 4 different sizes of an A-frame, and then the ability to work on stairs and unlevel ground, that 90-degree position so you can get close to your work. And then it also separates to make 2 separate trestles for scaffolding. It will take 2 accessories in order to do that, a set of trestle brackets and a plank, so you may consider that at a later date. Start with the ladder today, and then you can add on that plank and trestle brackets, and we have related videos here on YouTube, and you can find that related content here on our page for accessories. But it also makes into an extension ladder 24 different applications if you counted up all the things that the MegaMax can do. And the great thing is that where do you store 24 ladders or 6 ladders or even 3? It's right here. 4'7", 8 inches wide. That's the easiest way you're ever going to carry an 8-foot ladder through a doorway or a 17-foot extension ladder onto a job site. Again, for you in the trades. This is the aircraft grade aluminum MegaMax refurbished, and on our website we've taken a considerable discount because it is a refurbished scratch and dent ladder, and on sale here for Father's Day for $199, sub $200, so $199, and that product also comes with free shipping. Anywhere in the continental, the lower 48. I know that you in Alaska might say, well, what's the definition of continental? So let's say lower 48. Free shipping, Maine, Florida, California, anywhere in between. So we're shipping these from Utah, and $199. Fantastic product for everything this ladder can do. If you went out and bought 3 ladders separately, it's great value. Okay, let's go to Suzanne. In fact, I'll step over here and let's address some of the questions. Suzanne, what's going on over here?
Yeah.
Checking the feed.
We have somebody who asked a question about the plank, actually. They want to know how much the plank can hold.
Good question. Our planks are a 2-person, 500-pound capacity. And we could go into some detail. Do you think it's worth showing those? Or maybe Paxton, you could just run some B-roll. And they are compatible with a lot of different Little Giant products. We're going to show you here on the Sure Step. But our planks come in fixed lengths, and they also come in telescopic lengths. But they are rated for 500 pounds or 2 people. We make different lengths of those. Telescopic versions come in a 6 that goes out to 9, 8, telescopes out to 13. And then we make one even bigger than that goes out to 15 feet, so telescopic. And we also make lengths that are fixed. So make sure you get the one that's right for you. My buddy Nate, I think it was just a couple of weeks ago, got his plank. And Michael, do you have a plank yet? Paxton, you must have a plank, I'm going to guess, right? Yeah. For a lot of work that you're doing that you used to do on ladders, if you're painting inside your house, and you're doing 1.5 feet of work, and then you come down and move everything, and then you do 1.5 feet of work and come down and move everything, maybe getting a plank, that might be a great option, great purchase. That's a long answer to a short question.
No, that's great.
Good.
That's what Emily wanted to know.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, comments, thumbs up? Also kind of interesting, when we get on YouTube, it's kind of interesting to get to know who we're reaching. If you're here in the States, let us know what state you're in. Let us know what country you might be coming from. When we had been on YouTube previously, we asked you to send in a sticker. If you have an Instagram handle, if you work for a company, and you want us to brag about your brand, over my shoulder we have a Sentinel that we've put your labels or your stickers on. Yeah, go ahead and zoom in on that one. We have friends from the UK. We have friends in the siding business, painters, Aki electricians, our friends in Wales, Cardiff, right? We've got all of these trades. Whatnot Hardware. If you want to follow a fun Instagram, go to Whatnot Hardware, our friends out in Japan. Fantastic. Tool Talk 1, out in the UK, Blue Recruit, and obviously you can see some others from Asian countries, and then Sun City and Hasegawa, etc. Yeah, so some cool labels. If we'll throw that out there. If you are from a different country or would like us to brag about your brand, send us a sticker. We're here in Utah, and you can find our physical address on our website, Springville, Utah, and we'll throw you up on the brag board, which is the Sentinel ladder. Okay, let's jump in and talk about the King Combo, because this is another great product on a refurbished sale for Father's Day. We're going to put the MegaMax away, and Michael, this won't be in your way if I put it here, will it? Let's move on to the King Combo, and first I'll show you the fiberglass version. The fiberglass, and you can see over my shoulder leaning against the brick that we also do this in aluminum. This is the 5-foot King Combo. When this ladder came out, it has won safety awards. So we'll brag about those. Six organizations that you're likely familiar with called this product their Safety Innovation of the Year, including Liberty Mutual Insurance. Because if we get to the root cause of why it's safe, OSHA tells us that ladders are only to be used for the purpose for which they were designed. And anytime OSHA uses the word only, we should probably pay attention, right? Only, for the purposes for which they were designed. That means that we can't makeshift solutions. Don't take a step ladder and think that on Thursday you can make it into a straight ladder. This is an OSHA violation, meaning that it wasn't designed for that purpose. Okay? And that's why the King Combo has been very popular, because here we have a lightweight, 375-pound capacity fiberglass A-frame, but then when we close this, notice that this just has one single hinge, and then bring those back legs into a closed, locked position, then we can lean this safely against stucco or siding or drywall. But then, because we know that many of you are in corners, we can rotate that wall pad so that you're tackling inside corners or outside corners. For you electricians or HVAC, mechanical contractors, or even if you're finishing your own basement this summer, then it's going to allow you to hug studs as well. So 4 different options or ways that we can lean that ladder safely. So it's really a 3-in-1. Number 1, leaning position safely. And the A-frame position, let me pause here for a second and let's go to Suzanne. It sounds like somebody might have a question or comment, something important. Suzanne, what's going on over there?
Yeah, so Random Razor asks the best ladder for a 1-story bungalow. He's not sure to get an extension or one of the combo type step ladders. So I'd like your recommendation on that.
Yeah, I think that MegaMax would probably do it. 1-story bungalow, I would think that on, and I'm jealous of your porch. I'm sure that your porch just looks absolutely beautiful. And in the summer, right? You get out there with some sweet tea or maybe some lemonade, Coke, right? Anyway, my recommendation for a 1-story bungalow, if you do have a little bit of foundation, the bungalows in Utah that I've seen have a little bit of foundation that shows, and maybe you do have a basement, I would recommend that Model 17 MegaMax that we just put away. That is a fantastic price at $199 and free shipping. That might be the way to go, because in the extension ladder position, it's certainly going to do everything you need to do in the A-frame position, but as an extension ladder on the gabled end of your home, it might go up a little bit higher. So that will reach up to about a story, story and a half. 15 feet is the length of from end to end or tip to tip. So on the gabled end where you might have some vents or some access, whole house vents, etc. on the side of your home. I'd recommend Model 17 MegaMax. Good question. The King Combo can also be used in this A-frame position. Now, what's different about the King Combo in the A-frame is that the back legs are 14 inches. Think that through. Why would a ladder company design the back of a ladder to be 14 inches wide? Because studs are 16-inch on center. So if this allows an electrician, plumber, HVAC, or again, those of you that might be finishing your own basement, if this allows you to get in between the studs, then it encourages you to face the ladder as you should, maintain your 3 points of contact as you should, but then also be in a more ergonomic position because you're nose in. You're facing the work and you're facing the ladder at the same time. So 14 inches wide for a reason. Safety through the design in the A-frame. And then also, in any position, I want to show you the replaceable feet. You wouldn't drive your car with bald tires, right? And you wouldn't drive your truck with missing tires, but we see people use ladders with compromised feet. So you can see the traction there at the bottom, but the fasteners allow you to back those out. And we're not saying that next year, but let's say in 7 years, after you've dragged this around a job site for all day, every day for 5, 6, 7 years, you might want to replace the tires. But the King Combo allows you to do that. Just swap out those feet, and those will be available for you. Also, 375-pound capacity. This is a Type 1 AA. We also don't want you to stand on the top rung. We know that it does get tempting. I use ladders as well, and it does get tempting when we're using a ladder in an A-frame position that you may venture to the top rung. I've seen some people, more than you should, stand on the top cap. So instead of making those poor choices, we just go back to that hinge, turn the King Combo into an extension ladder, and yes, it's small, yes, it's lightweight. In fact, this product only weighs 21.5 pounds, but now you can use the top cap as a standing surface because it's no longer a step ladder. It's now an extension ladder. Yes, it's a small extension ladder, but think of where you are. If your feet are at 5, most of us have a reach of about 11, and it's going to be perfect for a lot of residential use. I have a 5-foot King Combo at my house, and I will grab this ladder more often than I grab most because it's lightweight, still has a lot of versatility in the leaning position, the A-frame position, and then obviously as a small, lightweight, only 21.5 pounds extension ladder. You'll also see in the extension position that these house pad feet, they're also field replaceable, but they have a bevel to them, and they will end up being parallel to the surface or the wall that you're leaning the ladder against. So a lot of engagement, and you notice our engineers did a really good job on what we call those house pad feet. You'll also notice that the fiberglass has those holes that are pre-drilled. Those are there for a reason. These are prepared. This ladder is prepared for you to add on an accessory, whether it's today, next week, next month, maybe for Christmas time. You might want to get the quad pod. The quad pod is an accessory that will be used when the ladder's in the extension ladder position. You can see that we'll just zip those feet off, slide that quad pod, just 4 screws that come with it, and then putting those feet back on. Now you can use the extension ladder and have those bevels like we talked about in the leaning position. So you can lean the ladder against flat walls, pipes, poles, but also studs, and you can do that in 4 different positions. That also doubles as your tool tray, so maybe you put your hammer here, maybe you put screwdrivers, or maybe your loose fasteners in these trays right here. But you can see that these are the holes right here, and your screws would go right through there. It only takes you, I think the first quad pod I ever put on a King Combo took all of about 6 minutes. Doesn't take much. So this is an accessory, and it's compatible with these King Combos that we're showing you today. That's an accessory that you may consider. Another accessory that you may consider on the King Combo is called the loop box. And the loop box was originally designed for plumbers, because many plumbers use a 2-step process of their primer and their glue, but maybe an electrician, or even just around the house. So this divider system, you can slide this out and store this at the bottom, but it's designed so that you can keep your couplings, your wire nuts, and maybe your other fasteners over here to this side. And then it can also hold your industry-specific tools. A few drivers can go over here, and then maybe your drywall saw been designed to go in here. But you can see that this is the clip right here. And that clip will be compatible with or locks into the top of your King Combo. We'll just take this off, and you can have either one on the left, one on the right. You could set it up or customize what you need for that particular day, for your particular trade, whether you're a plumber or an electrician, or for those of you that are just doing things around your own home. That might be a really good accessory. Pick up at least one. You may consider 2 because you have another port on the opposite side. I'm just showing you one, but you could put another loop box over here on this side too. Or your snacks. Yeah, maybe you could put your Big Gulp or what else? Your chips, Doritos, I don't know. What kind of snacks are you, what'd you have for breakfast? Banana and a bar? Oh, there you go. Yeah, your Little Giant Gulp and some kind of chips. Michael Buck. You can also see that it can fasten up here. So if we're using the ladder in that closed leaning position, you might want to put your loop box here on the top. And you can fashion it that way because there is this and then also this, so it'll go right in there. So a couple of different ways that you can manage to either clip it onto the top like this when you're using it in a closed position or the A-frame, but many times you will use that clip so that it can be off to the side. So really cool. That's one accessory, or actually two accessories, the loop box that we showed you here, and then also that quad pod that we showed you in the B-roll. A couple of accessories. We're showing you the 5-foot. Again, these are refurbished, but if you navigate to our website, littlegiantladders.com, go to the Father's Day sale, and you'll find that this King Combo fiberglass version is a fantastic price. Let's talk about the aluminum version real quick, and then we'll talk about that particular price. But let's rotate this around. I will put the quad pod and the loop box over here, and put the King Combo over here. The aluminum King Combo. This also follows the same design, same dimensions, and the same height. So we can use it in that extension ladder position. In this position, remember that the top cap now becomes a standing surface because it's been designed by the manufacturer for that purpose. Remember, go back to that OSHA standard, only for the purpose for which it was designed. This is also compatible with the accessories that we just discussed. The loop box and also the quad pod can be added to this if you choose to. The difference on the aluminum, obviously this is made out of an aircraft grade of aluminum, so it will be a little bit lighter in its weight and also carries a little bit of a lighter weight rating. So I want to be clear on this one. Remember that the fiberglass version that we just put away carries a 375-pound capacity, while the aluminum version carries a 300-pound capacity. So I want to make sure that you know what you're getting there. But I love the aluminum version of that King Combo because you can still use it in that closed, locked, leaning position. You can use it in the A-frame position. Again, the back legs are 14 inches wide, so you can hug studs or get in between tight spaces, even just around your own home. Maybe it's between the furniture and the wall. Maybe it's between something in the laundry room. So a 3-in-1 ladder rated for 300 pounds. This is the aluminum King Combo. Let's go to the notes over here, and then we'll talk about the pricing. Suzanne, what's up?
Yeah, so Emily has another question. She wanted to know, will the feet cause any damage to my house when leaning against it?
No, these have been designed to be skid resistant. Good question. So depending on the surface that you're leaning the ladder against, what camera are we on? Are we here? Here, Michael? So depending on the surface that you're leaning the ladder against, but when I lean my ladder against drywall, stucco, I don't have stucco at my house, but brick on the outside or even siding, I have some aluminum siding. So it depends on the surface that you're leaning the ladder against, but it's been designed with the right kind of resins and materials, so should not leave marks. Good question.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Emily.
Awesome. Let's come over here and talk about the, any other questions, comments before I think that's about it. If you showed up a little bit late, we can do this again and show you what you missed. But really, we're talking about some refurbished models, Father's Day sale, and what's going on. If you wanted to order one today, then of course you could either print the receipt or just make some kind of flashy image, fold that up, give it to him on Sunday in a card, and then his ladder will show up within the next couple of weeks. Okay, so here's the King Combo. Remember what we said, the MegaMax. I'll just step over there and grab the MegaMax quickly. The MegaMax is that 300-pound capacity multi-purpose ladder. It's really a 24-in-1 product. This is for that single-story bungalow, even up to a story and a half. So if you have a raised ranch, condo, single-story home, or if you have a 2-story home and you only plan on doing the work from the 2nd-story window and down, and maybe you hire a professional to do work that's from the second story window and up, then for you, the Model 17 MegaMax would be a fantastic buy. Again, when you navigate to our website, refurbished products, this is on sale for $199. Fantastic value, especially when you add on that this is free shipping on top of that. So you're getting 24 different ladders for less than the price of what you could purchase just one good quality extension ladder. And now you're storing only one in the garage, and you have access to multiple ladders out of the MegaMax. 300-pound capacity on sale for $199, free shipping on the website for this particular model. Then we talked about the King Combo. The King Combo comes in that 375-pound capacity. Again, for those of you in the trades that need a non-conductive material, for you, maybe the material would make all the difference. For electricians and certain plumbers or HVAC, we would strongly recommend fiberglass because it's non-conductive. That carries a 375-pound capacity. The aluminum version, although it's a little bit lighter, also carries a lighter weight rating at 300 pounds. And when we reveal this price to you, these King Combos, just while supplies last, on sale for $64.99. Great value. Now, you do pay for shipping on that, but $64.99 is a fantastic price. Make sure you get yours for Father's Day, or if you have an anniversary, or a just because. You know, some people like those just because gifts, and maybe that's it. Or if you're just purchasing a tool for the trades, for a home, maybe this is a great time to get it because you're taking advantage of our refurbished scratch and dent price, and then that would afford you to get a couple of those accessories that we discussed. The air deck and the work platform that are compatible with the MegaMax, and the loot box and the cargo hold, or the quad pod compatible with these King Combos. So a couple of accessories. When you get to our website to pick up your ladders, make sure you click on a couple of accessories, make sure they're compatible with, and maybe you pick up a couple of those. All right, my name's Kenyon, out here in Utah. Thanks for being with us, and we want you to be safe out there regardless of what you're doing on ladders. Be safe, maintain 3 points of contact, face the ladder, make sure you're setting up any ladder correctly. Thanks, Suzanne. Appreciate you being a part of it. Michael, Paxton, thank you, and we'll see you next time. See ya.